Hello Liquid fans, Liquid Charlie here, or just Charlie, I don't really care. I thought I would take you on an exciting tour of all my guitars. A few of you have asked if you could see all of my guitars in some sort of detail. So here you go. So I'm going to start with the EVH Star guitar, which is one of the guitars that Gerd sent me. You've all seen this one. I don't know if I can hold the camera far enough away. There we go. So this is the standard EVH Star guitar, but I upgraded it with all FU tone stuff and magic and glory. There are the red springs in the back and the brass block, and it has the red D tuner on it, as does Eddie's, and that is an awesome guitar. Next is the Stealth, which you've all definitely seen. And this is a very special guitar. This was a prototype. I think it's one of the first 7 that were made. And this has also been souped up with FU tone goodies as well, and has the kill switch on it, and the red springs in the back, and a big brass block. So that is a superb guitar, as you can imagine. And then we've got the Wolfgang Standard, which is pretty nice. My girlfriend bought me this one, so it's very special to me, and it's a very cool guitar. This has also been upgraded, as you can see. It's got the D tuner on it, some new saddles because the other one's threaded and dyed, and red springs and brass block. So now if we move over here, this is my Charvel, which is the Charvel 475 Deluxe, which I bought in London, and is from 1989. I didn't buy it then because I was only 8. I bought it about 10 or 12 years ago, but it was made in 1989 anyway, and it's got lovely flame this side, but also on the back. And this just sounds incredibly 80s, which I love. But I don't really play it enough now because I've got too many EVH guitars to play. So this one was the first guitar I upgraded and put the block in, which made it super amazing as well. So next is my Frankenstrat that I attempted to relic with a hammer and chisel. Wasn't really too bothered about it, just wanted to get the gloss off it. So this isn't actually an EVH guitar, it's just a cheap copy that I got for about £150. No logo, nothing. And it's pretty shit, but I have kind of made it a bit better, but it's fairly high action, and the body doesn't weigh anything, as you can tell, because I'm not struggling at all with my weak arms to hold it up. So yeah, the tone is really thin, but it looks very cool on my wall. So that's that one. And then we've got my Nuno guitar, which is the one that everyone thinks is an N4, but it actually isn't. It's another cheap-ish guitar. This is the Nexstar series. I believe it's the N3, which was somewhere in between N2 and N4, funnily enough. But they only made it for about a year because people were buying this one over the M4 because it was much cheaper, but it still had the Stevens cutaway and Floyd Rose, etc. on it. Oh, and the, what's it called? Whatever that is, I haven't got my glasses on, but it's got that tuning system on it. And the only thing it's lacking is the Bill Lawrence pickups, which is a shame, but it's still a pretty cool guitar. And has a coil tap in it. Excellent. Then, down here, we've got my Fender Strat, which is just a Mexican standard Strat. I'm going to be putting a brass block in there sometime this week, maybe next week. But this was my first Strat, and I only bought it a year ago. So love that. Then here is the Bumblebee, which is completely standard. I haven't done anything to this one. This has got a lovely neck on it. It's basically not got any finish, and so it's staining up quite nicely, going a bit grey in places and looking pretty cool. And then OLP number 1. So this is one of the better OLPs. It's got Seymour Duncan pickups in it and a genuine Floyd Rose. I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. And yeah, pretty cool, but the action is a little bit high, so I don't play it that much because it can be a little bit awkward, a bit like trying to get this camera angle right. There we go. Not that I play with a particularly low action, but that's just a bit too high. So next is my mini Frankenstrat, which is kind of cool. The tape I used on it was a bit too thick, but overall it's come out alright. But that's just a bit of fun. That's a Hohner Rockwood LX30. And then this is my Ibanez, which I custom made out of Ibanez bits, really. It was an RG375DX. Again, so quite a cheap one, but I put the neck of a 550 on it, and that made it quite a lot better. And I changed the scratch plate for a plain white one rather than the pearloid nastiness. And then I've got this 7-string, which is a PV 7-string, and I haven't really played it very much yet, but yeah, it's basically got an extra string that's tuned low, so that's exciting, isn't it? PV Wolfgang had this since they came out, whenever that was, 2001 I think, and this is pretty much as standard. All I changed on this is the volume pot for the MXR style one, and that is a rocking guitar that you can rely on. And then it goes on. Sorry if this is getting dull now. This was my first proper electric guitar, which looks a lot like a Music Man. You can't quite see the finish, unfortunately. But it's not a Music Man. It's made by a company called Jim Harley, who are a fairly cheap company that I don't think exists anymore. And I modded it quite a bit. I put a Washburn tremolo on it that I had from another guitar. Detuner, of course, and 2 Seymour Duncan pickups, but I can't remember what they are. What are they? I think this one, the bridge pickup, was a custom, and I've got no idea what that one is in the neck. But that guitar doesn't really work, so I don't play that ever. And then there's the bass, which we don't really need to go into. And then finally, we have my other OLP, which is my current favourite, which was the slightly cheaper OLP of the two. Didn't come with a proper Floyd Rose, just a cheap one, but I've replaced the saddles. Well, in fact, I replaced the whole bridge with a Floyd Rose Special, and then had to replace the saddles because they went. So, and this has just been modified or upgraded with the brass block, and it already had a trem stopper in it. But that just sustains forever. So I'm absolutely loving that guitar. So that is the tour of my guitar collection. I hope you guys liked it.